Hello. This is a question that is dear to my heart. It's a topic I'm very passionate about. And there's a long answer and a short answer to this question, okay? So the long answer is my book, From Teacher to Trainer. GPEX can help you get this if you're interested in it. But the short answer is what I'm going to be talking about for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So you get a flavor of what's in the book. Now, we did this before, but great if we could just do this again. So please raise your hand if your answer is A, if you're a teacher. No teachers in the room? Okay. All right, great. If you're a trainer or mentor or manager or administrator, please raise your hand. Excellent, okay. And both? Is anybody both? Okay, quite a lot. Fantastic. So the first thing to consider is our aim. What's our goal, either as teachers or as administrators, when we think about improving teaching? First of all, what we want to achieve is sustained improvements in teaching knowledge and practice. Quite often, I'm sure you've had this experience as teachers. Maybe you attend a workshop or you attend a conference and you pick up some activities, you pick up some ideas, and then you apply them in your next lesson. The question is whether you continue to apply them. Do you continue to change your practice, or do you just do it once and then go back to how you were before? For improvements to be real and for them to have an impact, they have to be sustained. So that's the first consideration. The second consideration is whether the changes that you make are applicable and relevant to you and your students and the institution that you work in. Now, obviously, a school or an institution in Malaysia is different to a school or an institution in Vietnam or Mexico or wherever. And even in the same institution, different teachers and different classes will be different. So what's really important is that the changes you make to your teaching, or the changes that your teachers make, are relevant to the groups that they're working with. And the third and most important consideration is the impact. If we're working with teachers and trying to get them to improve, what's the impact on student learning? So we want the teachers to learn, but we want the students to learn as well. We want improved student learning. So this is our real key aim. Oh no, the black box is back. So here the quote is, the main goal of CPD, the main goal of teacher professional development, is to effect changes in teaching so that it results in enhanced student learning. This is always our desired endpoint. And here the goal of teacher education should be more effective learning of English by pupils and students. So this is what we have to have in mind when we think about improving teaching. So, as I say, this is the short answer, but I'm going to give you 3 ingredients for teacher learning. 3 key ingredients, and all of these ingredients have to be present if you want the learning to have impact, if you want the students to benefit at the end of it. Okay, this is a task for you, so I'm going to stop talking just for a moment. I want you to look at the pictures on the screen. We've got somebody driving, we've got some people dancing, and together with these 2, I want you to consider the teacher in the classroom. So 3 activities. And I want you to talk to the person next to you and see if you can find what these 3 activities have in common. What are the similarities between driving, dancing, and teaching? You've got 1 minute. Go. Talk together first, and I will get your answers in 50 seconds. We've got 3 at the front already. "30 seconds left. I see lots of students not talking. What do they have in common? 10 seconds. Okay, time's up. Madam Sia, give me one of your answers. Focus. So all of these activities require focus. Absolutely. If you're driving or dancing or teaching, you get a huge amount of information. Your senses are at peak capacity. You have to pay attention to the other traffic on the road, or pay attention to your vehicle. If you're a dancer, you have to pay attention to the space and the movement of your body. I just thought I was going to trip over then. And if you're a teacher, you have to pay attention to each and every student and what they're saying or what they're thinking or what they're doing, as well as the material and your resources in the room. Lady in yellow, you had your hand raised. Do you have an answer? Work together, absolutely. All of these activities are collaborative activities. You're working with other people. So if you're dancing, that's quite obvious, right? You're dancing with other people. If you're driving, the other people are the other drivers. And that can be it can be a polite, easy relationship, or it can be a more aggressive, angry relationship. If you're in the classroom, of course, the whole classroom is all about relationships between you and the students. But at school as well. A school is about relationships between the teachers and the staff. So plenty of relationships going on. Anything else? Patience. All of these activities require patience, for sure. Yes? Direction. Yeah, the direction. Well, let's put it this way. All of these activities are physical activities, right? Dancing is obviously a physical activity. Driving, you have to coordinate, your legs, your feet, your arms, your eyes. And teaching as well is a physical activity. You cannot teach standing in one place without moving. It's impossible. Okay? So they're all physical activities. Now these elements, being physical, the senses, the interpersonal aspect, these things mean that if you want to learn any of these activities, you have to do them. You have to do it. So you have to learn to teach by teaching. You can't, as Rima was saying to me earlier, NIAS doesn't accredit teachers who have done an online course because it doesn't include that aspect of practical teaching. You have to teach to get better at teaching. So one ingredient that you need is a classroom and some students. And you need it for two reasons. You need it to be able to notice teaching. So when we learn to teach, we observe other teachers and we see how they do things in the classroom, right? It could be a colleague that you observe, it could be your teacher trainer that you observe, or maybe you observe yourself. Maybe you record your own lesson and see what you're doing in order to work out how to improve. But you also need a classroom to put these things into practice, to practice doing it for yourself. So you could do it as part of a course on teaching practice. You might do some micro-teaching as part of a workshop, or simply in your own lessons, day to day, you put new ideas into practice and try to improve them. So that's one ingredient. We need a classroom. We call this, in the book, we call it the practical element. So we need this practical ingredient. The second ingredient that we need is expert input. And this comes from a variety of places. So it comes in the form of teaching terminology. We have special words that we use to talk about teaching. We have theories of learning. We have insights from research. And we have methodologies, of course. So all of these feed into this aspect. Why do we need this? Well, we want the best results for our learners. And as time goes by, we learn which things work and which things don't work so well. We want teachers to be able to access resources for themselves independently, right? So if you are completely new to teaching and you do your teaching course, in the first year you're going to learn a lot of this expert input, and that allows you then to go on into the second or third year, and it allows you to access research about teaching, or maybe Cambridge books that talk about teaching at a higher level because you understand that terminology and those basic ideas. Expert input allows you to interact with other professionals. So in an environment like this, for example, you are experienced teachers, experienced administrators, so you understand things. We're able to talk to each other about this topic in a way that people on the street may not be able to. And importantly, if you have this input, you understand how you can adapt things. You understand how you can make changes that mean a methodology works for you in your classroom in a way that it may not for a teacher in Australia or wherever. Professional ingredient. So we have the practical and the professional side. It's one of the best places to go to. We have books such as my own book, but also other books by ELT professionals, ELT experts. We have a range of free resources. So if you go to cambridge.org/insights, you can download these amazing white papers which give you a summary of some of the key research in particular areas. If you want more detailed research, particularly on assessment, we have Research Matters, which is published twice a year. Again, it's free at cambridgeassessment.org. And our sister organization, Cambridge International, also provides a huge number of free resources for teachers specifically focused on international schools. So, the 3 out of 4 of these are free. So the third ingredient is all about sensitivity to context. So it's this idea that I've mentioned that each classroom really is a unique environment. This is another task for you to do with your partner. I want you to take a look at these 2 pictures. We've got 2 different contexts here, and I want you to discuss together what are the opportunities available to each teacher that are not available to the other one. So you're thinking about the possibilities and the limitations for each one of these teachers. See if you can come up with 2 for each classroom. Okay? You've got 60 seconds once again. Discuss. Thirty seconds left. Okay, thank you very much. So let's start with the classroom on the left-hand side. What are the possibilities that this teacher has? A one-man show. Well, let's put it another way. The guy on the left is able to convey a lot of information to a lot of people, right? So that's one possibility. The limitation, is that maybe it's one-way traffic, as you say. So there is not so much of a dialogue here. Or if there is a dialogue, and he is talking to one student, then you have a whole room full of other students who are kind of sitting passively. So, pros and cons. How about the classroom on the right-hand side? What is a possibility open to this teacher? Collaboration. So she's able to get the class to work together. They're able to talk more as a group and have a discussion as a group. Any limitations here on the right-hand side? Maybe she has fewer perspectives, right? We've got 5 people in the class on the right, whereas in the class on the left-hand side, we've got a whole room full of people, and we might get a more diverse range of opinions. So it's not about saying that one classroom is better or worse. It's just about looking and seeing what is possible and what is not possible in this environment. So this is the third ingredient. It's all about understanding the teaching context and the people in that context. It's about understanding the individual teacher and their needs and their beliefs. And it's about being able to bridge the gap between the training and the classroom. Because if you have a workshop with a group of teachers. Each one of those teachers will go and do something slightly different with what they learn. So this we call the personal ingredient. So we have the practical, the professional, and the personal. These three elements. So this is an example from the book of how we use this task, the task that I just showed you. And the book is full of tasks like this to encourage you to reflect as you're reading and as you go through. So these are the three takeaways. This is what I want you to remember, that you need to have these three ingredients if you want your teacher learning, your teacher education to have an impact on student learning. Now, I believe time has run out, so I have to, sadly we can't watch this video, but there is a video which is available if you buy the book.